Published 1807 EDT, the 5th of August 2017. Updated 0147 EDT, the 6th of August 2017. President Trump took time out of his busy schedule to crash a wedding party at his New Jersey golf club on the first day of his 17-day vacation, much to the amusement of the guests. Trump hopped out of his golf cart to say hello and schmooze attendees of a wedding that was hosted at his National Golf Club in Bedminster on Saturday. The president sported his iconic Make America Great Again cap as he ambled over to the group and asked some of the women where the bride was. The guests later took to Instagram to post pictures and videos of the commander-in-chief, commenting that he was less orange than expected. Trump was seemingly in a good mood on the first day of his 17-day golf vacation, despite critics slamming the president for the extended trip. However, Trump is adamant that his time spent at the luxury club isn't a holiday but rather a working trip, and he is taking meetings and calls. After his golfing, Trump took to Twitter to praise the UN Security Council's decision to slap North Korea with sanctions and to blast leakers in the West Wing. President Trump greeted a wedding party at his Bedminster, New Jersey, golf club on Saturday. The guests later took to Instagram to post pictures and videos of the commander-in-chief, commenting that he was less orange than expected, taking his time seriously. Trump tweeted on Saturday afternoon that he is busy working from Bedminster and is not on vacation. The wedding clip, filmed by a member of the wedding party, shows Trump getting out from behind the wheel of a golf cart and walking over to the group. Trump asks them where the bride and groom were as the wedding party excitedly chatters among themselves. They jokingly say they've been cleared by security and are willing to be strip-searched as Trump approaches them. Trump asks to someone in the wedding party if his star was doing a good job, making the group laugh. The video was uploaded to Instagram and their user captioned the clip, "Look who Mike bumped into at Trump National." Another wedding guest wrote, "Such a beautiful day and celebration, and also, a run-in with 45. Making weddings great again since August 5, 2017. Trump announced his getaway on Thursday, which was met with much criticism. Trump hopped out of his golf cart to say hello and schmooze attendees of the wedding. He jokingly asked the guests where the bride was, the bride Caroline, on her wedding day. A friend captioned the post, "Such a beautiful day and celebration, and also, a run-in with 45. Making weddings great again since August 5, 2017. Trump was seemingly in a good mood on the first day of his 17-day golf vacation, despite critics slamming the president for the extended trip. Pictured the bride with friends at the wedding. However, Trump is adamant that his 17-day excursion outside of the White House isn't a vacation and that he is working, taking meetings and calls. In a series of tweets fired off on Saturday afternoon, Trump declared working in Bedminster, NJ, as long-planned construction is being done at the White House. This is not a vacation. Meetings and calls. Then addressed the UN Security Council's decision to slap North Korea with sanctions in response to 2 intercontinental ballistic missile tests in July. Trump tweeted, "The United Nations Security Council just voted 150 to sanction North Korea. China and Russia voted with us. Very big financial impact to added. United Nations resolution is the single largest economic sanctions package ever on North Korea. Over $1 billion in cost to NK. The Council unanimously approved the tough new sanctions on North Korea, including an estimated $1 billion export ban on Saturday. The sum is a huge bite out of its total exports, which was valued at $3 billion last year." Trump praised the UN Security Council's decision to slap North Korea with sanctions on Saturday afternoon. The Council unanimously approved the tough new sanctions on North Korea, including an estimated $1 billion export ban. UK Ambassador to the United Nations Matthew Rycroft, left, and US Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley vote in favor of new economic sanctions against North Korea on Saturday. Director of social media Dan Scavino Jr. shared an image of inside the Oval Office, showing a bare room, apart from a decorative rug and a painting of President George Washington. It bans North Korean exports of coal, iron ore, lead ore and seafood. It also prohibits countries from increasing the current numbers of North Korean laborers working abroad, bans new joint ventures with North Korea and any new investment in current joint ventures. The USD rafted measure, negotiated with North Korea's neighbor and ally China, is aimed at increasing economic pressure on Pyongyang to return to negotiations on its nuclear and missile programs. North Korea successfully fired off 2 intercontinental ballistic missile tests in July, and experts claim the weapons have the capability to hit mainland U.S. cities. Trump also commented on his administration's plague of leaks, tweeting, "After many years of leaks going on in Washington, it is great to see the AG taking action for national security. The tougher the better." The White House has amped up its hunt for leakers in the West Wing, following the publication of Trump's embarrassing phone calls to Mexican and Australian leaders. Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Dan Coats, the Director of National Intelligence, discussed what the Justice Department calls leaks of classified material threatening national security. It followed reports that a presidential advisor is raising the possibility of lie detector tests for the small number of people in the West Wing and elsewhere with access to transcripts of Trump's phone calls. Trump also commented on his administration's plague of leaks, following reports there may be lie detector tests coming to the West Wing. "No one is entitled to surreptitiously fight to advance battles in the media by revealing sensitive government information," Attorney General Jeff Sessions said Friday. Trump escaped from Washington, D.C. right as Robert Mueller, the Justice Department's special counsel, impaneled a grand jury to hear evidence that Russia interfered in the elections. It will also investigate whether Trump's campaign colluded with Moscow to tilt the White House race in his direction. And the panel has already issued its first subpoenas, according to a Reuters report, making demands related to a 2016 Trump Tower meeting that included Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer who promised to disclose but never delivered dirt on Hillary Clinton. Grand juries can allow prosecutors to subpoena documents, interview witnesses under oath, and obtain criminal indictments where the evidence warrants it. Going that route signals that the probe is entering a new phase, and that Mueller believes he will need to demand documents and sworn testimony from a number of people. Prosecutors are also probing Trump and Trump family members' financial ties, CNN reported. The Wall Street Journal reported the existence of the grand jury, which has been in session for weeks under the guidance of Mueller, himself a former director of the FBI. The subpoenas indicate that Mueller will use his investigative powers to scrutinize a meeting between the president's eldest son and a Kremlin-linked lawyer in June of 2016. Donald Trump Jr. set up the meeting after being contacted via email by music publicist Robert Goldstone, who promised dirt on Clinton and mentioned Russian government support for Donald Trump. Reuters reports that the first grand jury subpoenas have already begun to fly, related to a 2016 Trump Tower meeting that included Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer Robert Mueller, the special counsel investigating so far unsubstantiated charges that Donald Trump's presidential campaign colluded with Russia to tilt the 2016 election, has impaneled a grand jury to hear testimony and examine evidence. Scavino shared another photo of the Resolute desk being carried away from the Oval Office, waiting to be stored in nearby moving pods. Trump Jr. immediately agreed to the meeting and subsequently invited Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort to join him. The meeting was attended by Russian lawyer Natalia Veselnitskaya, a leading proponent of an effort to roll back anti-Russia sanctions in the 2012 Magnitsky Act, a U.S. law deplored by Russian President Vladimir Putin. When the outlines of the meeting first came to light, Trump Jr. initially stated that it was mainly about Russia's prohibition on Americans adopting children from there, a ban that came about in response to U.S. sanctions. President Trump weighed in on that statement while it was being written, the White House later confirmed. Trump Jr. ultimately released the email chain revealing the Clinton connection. As Washington, D.C. preps for another busy week, following the outing of Anthony Scaramucci, critics of the president are slamming him for being out of town. Former Mexican President Vicente Fox ceaselessly trolled Trump on Twitter about his long vacation. On Friday, Fox tweeted, "At Real Donald Trump leaving on vacation. What for if you're not happy with your job, just leave. After all, it was never for you." Fox, who was the president of Mexico from 2000 to 2006, also prefers a good F-bomb when tweeting about his nemesis to the north. At Real Donald Trump, "Once again I tell you we're not paying for the thing wall. Do not try to use us for your own good." Former Mexican President Vicente Fox trolled President Trump on Twitter for taking the long vacation, saying, "If you're not happy with your job, just leave. After all, it was never for you." News reports indicate Trump and his immediate predecessors had different approaches to time off through the first August of their terms in office. Donald Trump 41 days, Barack Obama 15 days, George W. Bush 33 days. Although Trump and his supporters like to tout his disdain for taking vacations, Trump actually takes them constantly. Trump gets out of town quite often. So far, he has spent 13 of his 28 weekends in office away from the White House, mostly at his properties in Palm Beach, Florida, or in Bedminster, New Jersey, according to an Associated Press count. But Trump has said several times that successful people don't take vacations. What's the point if you're not enjoying your work? You're in the wrong job, Trump wrote in his 2004 book, Trump Think Like a Billionaire. He told Larry King in an interview that year that most of the people I know that are successful really don't take vacations. Their business is their vacation. I rarely leave. You know that, Trump said. You and I are friends. How often do you see me going away? He slammed Obama for doing the same thing. In August 2011, Trump tweeted that Barack Obama played golf yesterday. Now he heads to a 10-day vacation in Martha's Vineyard. Nice work ethic. A few months later, his Twitter account lit up again. Why is it Barack Obama always campaigning or on vacation?